Hello, good evening. Welcome to another edition of Business Live. Coming up, Ghana cedi and Eurobonds extend gains today following the expected IMF board approval of a $3 billion bailout on Wednesday. Also in this bulletin, Ghana expected to get first tranche of IMF cash this week after board consideration of country's program this Wednesday. Ahead, we will hear from the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, who says about $1.2 billion disbursement will be made by the fund this year. And also coming up, pensioner bondholders expected to receive payment of outstanding coupons today after group reached an agreement with government.
We had agreed on is that the government is going to pay all the outstanding coupons on Monday.
Okay.
Including the coupons that will be due on Monday 15th. 2 more coupons will be due. And that is going to be added to the ones that have been due for over 60 days.
We've got details of these stories plus many others coming your way shortly. Please stay. Pleasure you could stay with us. I am Pious Kojo Baka. To our very first story, Ghana's Eurobonds and the country's local currency, the cedi, extended gains today as the nation expects the International Monetary Fund board approval for a $3 billion bailout by Wednesday. The following report has more.
According to Bloomberg, Ghana's currency strengthened by 5.3%, the most since April 3rd. International bonds of various maturities also rallied, accounting for 8 of the top 10 performers in emerging markets today. The dollar is presently going for about 11 cedis 90 pesos on the retail market. Meanwhile, the $2035 note rose 1.3 cents to 39 cents on the dollar. The government suspended payments on its external obligations in December as it engaged in debt restructuring talks with its creditors.
All right, so we've been joined by the Vice President of the Forex Bureau Association, who is Dr. Alex Makpabli, to throw more light on this for us. Grateful, Doc, you could join us on Business Live. The cedi for some time now has recorded some stability, and some are saying that, well, it could be as a result of the assurance given by the members of the G20 framework. Is that so?
Thank you very much for having me. Yes, that is so. You see how powerful speculation is. Hitherto, I believe that speculation, yes, has a positive influence on an outcome variable, but not to this extent. So speculation is so powerful in Ghana, as we are seeing. Yes, today we went to work, and the rain started, and people started stropping into our bureaus, and we realized that the price is just coming down. People, for instance, today as I'm speaking to you, we're selling dollar 11.8, 0.67. So yes, speculation has brought down, the rates once again.
Okay, so before then, give us how the cedi's performance was. Give us a fair idea as to how it was.
So last week, for instance, we were selling, the cedi to the dollar was about, let me say we were buying at 11.6 and selling at 12 or 11.9. But today, as you rightly put it, the rates are dropping. The rates are coming down. The cedi is getting more weight as compared to the US dollar.
All right. And how is that, improving or, kind of shaping up your business?
For us, we buy and sell, and whatever form it takes, it doesn't much affect us. It's only rather those who are in business, import and export business, okay? But for us, we only buy and sell. Whatever, even when the rate comes down, all right, we'll buy and sell and put some small margins on it. So we are not affected so much as those in business, those in other business, excuse me.
So, Dr. Akpabli, the funds, when I say the funds, I mean the monies have not hit the Bank of Ghana's account yet. And of course, when it does, we shall see some boost or confidence in the economy and what have you. Now, are you optimistic that going forward, we are likely to see the rates coming down?
So that is why I was telling you the power of speculation. All right. Ghanaian economy has been mostly driven by speculation. Okay, which for me is very sad. Okay, because speculation can be positive or negative. You understand?
Yeah.
But if the reality happens, there is no doubt that the rate will be coming down. The city will be will be more powerful, again, than as we are seeing now, and therefore the rates will come down.
As you rightly mentioned, how are you strategizing to capitalize on this great feat?
Well, for us, we are only praying. We wish ourselves well that the Ghana economy will be sound, it will be robust, and therefore, if it happens, as we are praying that we happen to secure this $3 billion loan from the IMF, I think to cushion us, I think it will help businesses. Okay, as we speak now, most businesses are struggling, and therefore, if it is a case that this money comes in and it will open more, it will put more confidence in our economy, I think it will be a good news for all of us. And so, yes, business, we as the bureaus, we are only praying that the good thing happens. So there isn't much strategy, but for those in the other businesses, the trading businesses, I will just pray that yes, but you see, the truth must be told. Okay, it is not a case that when the city gain, more or become more powerful, then it will create an enabling environment for business to strive. I don't buy into that perception.
Why don't you?
You understand? Yes.
Why don't you?
And so, come again.
Why don't you buy that?
Yeah, so yeah, because it is not just when you have a strong currency, then you create an enabling environment. There are so many ways. For instance, the taxes that we pay, they are too created. The competition is not there. You understand? The competition is not there, and therefore, if you have a very good sound city, and then you have your taxes very high, inflation is very high, you cannot tell me that will create an enabling environment.
All right. Sure. Thank you very much, Dr. Alex Akpabli, for your time here on Business Live, speaking to us on the back of the performance of the CD recently. Let's move on to some other stories. And Ghana is expected to get its first tranche of the International Monetary Fund balance of payment support this week. Now, that's if the executive board of the fund is able to consider Ghana's request this Wednesday and possibly approve its request for a program. Now, the cash disbursement is expected to hit the Bank of Ghana's account. George Yafe has the rest of the story.
Ghana should also secure the approval of the first tranche of IMF Cash this Wednesday, as soon as the executive board approves Ghana's program. However, due to national transfer procedures, the money should hit Bank of Ghana's account this Friday or next Monday. The first tranche of disbursement will be done in 2 installments. There are about $750 million should come in this week or the next one. This is basically due to what some are describing as Ghana meeting all the preconditions under the program request, while the remaining $750 million should come in next month. That will be tied to meeting some fresh conditions under the program. Ghana should get about $1.4 billion for this year as part of the first set of what some are calling cash transfers to to the country under the IMF program. All the funds are going directly to the Bank of Ghana's account to support the country's balance of payment needs. The executive board of the IMF is looking at Ghana's program for approval after the country secured the required financial assurance last week from members that made up the G20 Common Framework, which includes China, and countries that made up the Paris Club.
Government has indicated that it is hoping to get about $1.2 billion disbursed to Ghana this year. This will be realized once it gets the IMF program approved this week. Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, disclosed this ahead of PM Express Business Edition on Thursday.
The first tranche of disbursement of 600 million US dollars will start immediately, and so we are expecting that within a week or two that will drop in our accounts. There will be the second tranche in disbursement after a successful review by November, December, and so this year alone we are expecting some 1.2 billion United States dollars. You can imagine what this will do to our balance of payment position, what it will do to our budget, because there is budget support in that as well. The remaining amount will be disbursed in equal tranches of $360 million every 6 months after a successful review. Okay, and so the money will flow, and we are very confident that they will serve the purpose in bringing about macro stability, but at the same time we are going to continue with the debt restructuring, because we have to bring our debt levels to sustainable levels, 55% of GDP by 2028. The domestic debt operation has been successful, about 85% participation, and then also once the official creditor committee granted us the financing assurances, which paved the way for the approval of our program by the IMF, negotiation of those debts will start in earnest, and we are hopeful that we will not only achieve macro stability, but will also achieve debt sustainability, and then bring the economy to the path of recovery and growth.
So we're looking at about $3 billion, right?
Yeah, the IMF program is a $3 billion US dollar to be disbursed over 3 years. But there is also the catalytic effect that we always talk about. The other development partners and other investors are going to follow through because of the approval.
And that's what I was going to come to that very soon as well. I know that we got the communication that the World Bank is going to come on board, and the other development partners are also going to come on board. What role are these partners going to play in this whole program in terms of, because I know that what the IMF is going to give is directly going to go for our balance of payment support. The World Bank is going to come on board to support our budget and all the rest, and we have Germany, Sweden, and others also coming on board. Again, help us. Maybe it's still early days yet, and not the fine details, but help us the role of these development partners are going to play in this whole program.
Well, once we apply it for an IMF-supported program, we also started engaging with the World Bank, for budget support, and I'm happy to report that we are far advanced. We are almost concluding the negotiation with the World Bank for a 900 million US dollar budget support, which will be disbursed in equal installment of $300 million a year. And so for the next 3 years, whilst the IMF is disbursing the $3 billion, the World Bank will also be disbursing 900 million US dollars, $300 million each year. The World Bank has also committed to support the Financial Stability Fund with 250 million US dollars. And then also we are talking to the Africa Development Bank to also support the fund up to about 100 million US dollars. We are hoping that other development partners will come forth to support our economy.
A while longer on the economy, because government missed its Treasury bills target by about 15.9%, following an ambitious target of 3.33 billion cedis for the auction. Interest rates, however, continued to surge despite financing assurance to Ghana's creditor committee under the G20 Common Framework. There is more in this Business Desk report.
Government had set an ambitious target to primarily resettle maturities worth 3.33 billion cedis and use the rest to pay coupon payments of pension bondholders. However, it secured 2.80 billion cedis from the sale of the short-term securities. A little above 2.31 billion cedis came from the 91-day T-bills. But government accepted about 99% of the bids. For the 182-day T-bill, the government got 355.2 million cedis, whilst it received 116.60 billion cedis from the 364-day T-bill. It accepted all the bids for both securities. Meanwhile, interest rates surged marginally on the yield curve. Whilst the yield on the 91-day T-bill went up to 20.43% from 20.25%, that of the 182-day T-bill also inched up by 0.14% to 22.96%. The rate for the 364-day bill stood at 27.59%. Presently, the Treasury market is the only source of borrowing for the government.
One of our headline stories, and pensioner bondholders will be expecting payment of their outstanding coupons beginning today. Government last Friday resolved to begin payments today after the pensioners picketed the Ministry of Finance. The pensioners say they are suspending their protest for now following an agreement reached with the Ministry of Finance. Convener of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum, Dr. Edu Anani Emchi, says they will wait to see if government makes good on its promise.
The meeting was called by the Minister of State, Dr. Amin Adam, and we had a lengthy discussion. And what we had agreed on is that the government is going to pay all the outstanding coupons on Monday.
Okay.
Including the coupons that will be due on Monday. Monday 15th, 2 more coupons will be due. And that is going to be added to the ones that are due for over 60 days, 50 days, 40 days to be paid.
All right.
So we were going to give instruction to the agents to start the payment. And we believe that if they are even...
So thankfully, we are not returning, we are not going to see these sites anymore.
Yes. So we said, well, the idea is to ensure that we don't continue with it. Nobody wants it, but you see, we're forced to do that. So the coupons only are going to be paid from Monday. Monday, they are going to settle everything that is due up to the Monday. However, the three principals due, we are still engaging government to see how that can be paid. That has not been resolved. And then government also has assured us that it would get, one of the things we're complete that the normalcy, pay us as and when it is due.
Right.
And government is undertaking to do that. As soon as the subsequent coupons are due, it pays, so that we don't come back to the picketing. So we met with these, we met yesterday night, forum, and we said, well, let us give government some space. Let's show that we also care. If it says it's going to pay on Monday, let's suspend our picketing for next week. So from Monday up to Friday, we won't be there. And then we will see what will happen during the week in terms of the payment and the arrangements that we have to make with government on the outstanding principals. If all things go well, then there will be no picketing. But if we hit some rock again, then of course we'll come back.
And we've got our eyes on this development story, and of course we'll update you as and when development unfolds on this very story in our subsequent bulletins. In case you joined us, you're still watching Business Live with me, Pious Kojo Baka. There will be more after this break. Hello, welcome back. Minister of Employment and Labour Relations, Ignatius Bafwewa, is asking investors to support the government in the creation of sustainable jobs. This, he believes, will aid in curtailing the menace of illegal migration within the sub-region. Speaking at the launch of the EU-Germany Joint Action on Jobs, Migration and Development, he entreated these investors to support Ghana's quest to promote technical, vocational, and education, as well as training programs.
Let me reiterate that sustainability have led to downscaling, if not collapse, of projects and programs when funding ceases or project ends. We need to confront the problem frontally to sustain this laudable project upon its completion or termination. I therefore wish partners will put in place flexible implementation arrangements to address the issues of sustainability. What we want to see is for the impact of this program to stay with us, but not to perhaps die off after the duration of the partnership. So whatever it takes to build in a sustainability program, please let's do. And I want to charge BMC to work with us to make sure that the ideals of the project will not die after the completion of the partnership. But let me make a special appeal before I end. This one, I'm very passionate about it. The last time at the EU Day celebration, we were taking round the exhibition. And then anytime there's a program here, we are also equally taking around exhibition. I appreciate the contribution your countries are making to the development of Ghana. But I want us to also focus on high-end programs that will actually lead to total transformation of Ghana. I must be honest, sometimes when I see the yogurts and this thing that people are being taught how to do, yes, it will provide some daily.
Some other stories: micro, small, and medium enterprises will soon benefit from a 100 million cedi fund under the Ghana Economic Transformation Project. Speaking at the launch of the Women and Youth in SMS program by the Ghana Enterprises Agency, Minister for Trade and Industry, Katie Hammond, disclosed that 40 million cedis of the amount will be allocated for capacity building, while 60 million cedis will be used to support the youth.
The Ghana Economic Transformation Project, in partnership with the World Bank, is aimed at promoting private investments and firm growth in non-resource-based sectors. The Ghana Enterprises Agency has launched the Women and Youth in MSME program under this project to ensure an all-inclusive approach. Minister for Trade and Industry, Katie Hammond, gave a breakdown of how the fund allocated to the program will be utilized.
It is significant to know that over the 100 million cedis of grant funding earmarked under the GET project for the two programs that we're launching today, 40 million is allocated as grant for training, capacity upgrading of a high growth, micro, small, and medium scale enterprises owned by women. They're not doing badly at all. While the balance of 60 million cedis is earmarked to support enterprises owned by young persons between the ages of 15, 18, and 35.
Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Enterprises Agency, Kosi Yankee Aye, explained why this tranche of funding comes with the condition that beneficiaries undergo training.
Our interventions have been to really build capacity and also provide access to funding. The access to funding component is important, but what is most important is the technical assistance capacity that these interventions provide. Over the years, a lot of MSMEs ask only for funding. But looking at the businesses of the youth and women, we think it's necessary and important that technical assistance and capacity development is at the forefront of the trainings and the tools that we provide to build and lift these interventions and businesses. So in this pool of training and support for the women and youth for MSMEs, we will provide training in business and financial management, and this training will assist you to plan and grow your businesses better.
Deputy Finance Minister John Kumar indicated that the launch of the Women and Youth in MSME program is reiteration that government will continue to help small businesses even during challenging times like the country is currently facing.
We live in a world where inclusivity and equal opportunities are paramount. We recognize the immense potential and talent that women and young entrepreneurs possess, and it is our duty to create an environment where their aspirations can thrive. Today, we affirm our commitment to fostering economic growth, reducing unemployment, and driving sustainable development through these vital initiatives.
Thanks so much for being part of the bulletin. I am Pious Kojo Baka. Let's connect same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.